Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Poulan Wild Thing, and we're going to put a starter rope in it. So, why am I looking in the gas tank if we're going to put a starter rope in here, right? It's kind of a habit of mine that if someone broke a rope, there's a reason why. They probably pulled and pulled and pulled. Maybe the machine is out of tune and it won't start anyway. This one doesn't have a broken rope. Most Poulans that come over my bench have something wrong with them, so I'm taking a look. Now, I don't think that statement that most of them have something wrong has a lot to do with the Poulan itself, and more the fact that, these are big box store saws, and anybody who thinks they want a chainsaw can go out and buy one, and a lot of them get neglected. So in this case, it's just an old saw. I mean, the air filter isn't trashed like you see on some of them. The cylinder is clean. It just needs a rope. So all the stereotypes are out the window on this one. There's 4 screws that hold the starter mechanism on the saw. We'll back those out and remove our starter assembly. Got all the screws laying on the bench so we don't lose them. We got a new piece of rope. And we're just going to take the air gun and blow some of that debris from the cover. Right here it says that it needs 39 inches of rope. I never measured the rope. I wind it up until the spool is full, and when you pull all of the rope out, it's not binding the rewind spring. So first we're relieving tension on that rewind spring. And then we'll get this handle off here. Now, this can be done, if you don't want to take the pulley out, it can be done in the cover like this, but it's a pain in the butt. There's not so much going on underneath this pulley that you really got to worry about that. And it's not a T20 bit either. It's either a 4mm or a T25. So carefully lift this off of here because there's your rewind spring. And you don't want to be pulling that out and having that explode in your face. So there's a screw that holds the string in place on this pulley. And that rope is it's wound around the center hub in a particular way. So I'm going to pull this off of here very carefully and lay it on the bench in just the exact way that it's wound on that pulley. Then when I put the new rope on, I can just glance at that and see how it's supposed to go back together. So in this pulley, they got a hole that's drilled all the way through, so that all I have to do is get the end of the string near the hole and push it through with a screwdriver. And we'll wrap it around the hub. Go around the original wrap of the string and push it into the slot that's built for the string. Now this special screw and washer will clamp that string down into place. And then we just keep pulling all the slack out of the rope. So it's really pretty easy to get that string to stay on there. No special knots or anything like that. We're going to pre-wind a bunch of the string onto that pulley. And then the pulley's going to go back in the cover. There is a notch in the pulley that lines up with the end of the spring. I didn't really show it in this picture, but it's pretty much self-explanatory when you look at it. And we'll get our center hub bolt back in place. It's being stubborn.
Get in your hole!
After that screw goes down, make sure the pulley turns freely. Now we're just going to put a temporary knot at the end of the string so that our handle doesn't fly off of here. Because we are going to tension the spring a little bit, and if it slips out of our hand, we would lose the end of that string inside the pulley cover. So I put 3 wraps on that spring, and then I'll relieve the tension. And that's way too much string anyway. So right about there is where I decided I want the length. And I decided that because when it's wound up all the way, there's no string trying to roll off the top of the pulley or anything. It's still all in the pulley, and I got a good length of string left. And then I pulled it all the way out and made sure that there was still the ability to turn the pulley a little further, meaning when the string is all the way out, it's not binding on the spring. Now you want to put a knot in the rope. It doesn't have to be any special kind of knot. It's just got to be a big enough knot that is not going to pull through the handle. A single overhand knot is not going to be enough. You got to do some kind of a double knot or a figure 8. I tried to get fancy here and just ended up with some big old granny knot, but that's fine. That knot's not going to pull through. I'm more concerned about how that side cutters didn't want to cut that string. So I ended up taking that cutters onto the tool truck, told my snap-on guy, I took the cutters and a piece of string. I says, cut a piece of string for me. And he tried to, and without saying a word, he just reached up and handed me a new pliers. Yeah, that's one advantage of having a tool truck is that you pay a little extra for the tools, but you get pretty good service. So we're going to put this thing back together and see if it runs. That's all I got for you on the Poulan Wild Thing re-rope. Thanks for watching. Later.